Trial Tuesday once again today. Attorney David Aylor, a man whose courtroom demeanor is as cold as the weather outside, is here to answer your legal questions. Counselor, welcome you back to the program. Great to have you here as always. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Thanks
Well, let's
for
get
having
right
me back.
into it. Yeah, Linda from Somerville. She wrote in, she was recently injured in a car wreck. The driver of the other vehicle was at fault. She's been dealing with the insurance company and has gotten frustrated with the process. So can she still hire an attorney even though they've already spoken with the insurance company?
This actually comes up fairly often. What happens is people, think that they're just going to deal with the insurance company, usually because the insurance company is very quick to contact them.
Sure.
And just to make sure viewers aren't confused here, we mean the insurance company of the other driver, the at-fault driver. And unfortunately, what often happens is once that sort of begins, they ultimately don't really agree or appreciate exactly what's going on, and they feel like, well, maybe I'm trapped at this point. Maybe they've even gone as far as to make a recorded statement. But the thing is, you can still hire an attorney. And I think it's very important to hire that attorney because there's oftentimes things that maybe you're not aware of that, of course, the insurance company of the other side is not going to tell you when trying to settle that case.
And you definitely want to make sure you get your proof. So when you're at an accident scene, you want to take down all the other driver's information. Then if you can with your cell phone, pull it out real quick and take any pictures.
Yeah, and at a minimum, if you were injured and left the scene of the accident, that's where an attorney and their investigators can really assist you in that process. There's nothing wrong with doing it on your own if you feel satisfied with it. However, oftentimes people don't even realize that maybe they're not getting everything they could.
Yeah, probably going to get more if you hire that attorney. All right, let's move on to our second question right now. Gary from Mount Pleasant writes in. He says, my son was the victim of a violent attack. They've been arrested, the offender, and are prosecuting him. But should I bring an attorney on to represent my son in any way?
Well, this is a question that comes up often because people obviously, fortunately, are not often the victims of violent crimes or having family members that are. When you have a case like this where the prosecutor's office is going forward with the case, there's going to be a victim's advocate that can assist you with the process, answer any questions, show up at court with you. However, they're not going to be attorneys. So many times it's important to have an attorney brought on. There may be for the the avenue of understanding all the legal ins and outs that you may not totally understand as the victim or a member of the victim's family, but also to look at any kind of civil aspects that may come from it. Many times people think about the prosecution side, but they don't think about maybe potential civil remedies for the person who's been injured.
Right, because there's a criminal trial, obviously, but then you can sue for damages and things
Correct.
like that.
I mean, obviously there's a tort that's occurred that would be separate from any of the criminal activity, and outside of restitution, that's not going to come into play without a civil attorney coming in. So I think often it's more important than not, just on a minimum of being a good communicator in between the prosecutor's office and the family.
So you want to bring that attorney in right away at the start of this trial, a criminal trial, just so he's on board or she's on board in case it goes down a civil route?
Yeah, I think it's better to at least have an attorney come in and look at it from the very beginning and like I said, be a conduit for both the civil potential as well as the criminal case as a whole.
Good advice right there. All right, let's get to our third question right now. Levi from James Island, he says, since they're making marijuana legal more and more, does that mean that South Carolina police officers won't make arrests as much in this state, even though it's still technically illegal in South Carolina?
Well, I've got some bad news for Levi. It's not going to be any different here in the state of South Carolina. The bottom line is, of course, we have two states that now have marijuana possession for recreational use legal, and then we have probably over 20-something states that have medical marijuana use legal. In South Carolina, we have no marijuana use legal, and that's not going to change, I don't believe, anytime soon. But the bottom line is, right now, it's the law. There's several laws in each state that are different from one state to the other, and it doesn't matter what the state literally neighboring you may say, you have to follow the laws that are within that state. So here in the state of South Carolina, they're absolutely going to continue to follow the law within representing the fact that marijuana is illegal, and you still will get arrested and prosecuted for it.
So even though that small amounts might mean nothing to you in your state or whatever, if you step foot into South Carolina and they catch you with anything, you're gonna face some serious consequences.
Does not come into play at that. You can't say you've seen a lot of things on the news. You thought it was legal here too. Bottom line is it's not. Just like gun laws and different things, when you cross state lines, you have to respect the state that you're in and follow the laws that they have.
As they say, by the letter of the law. Attorney David Aylor, thank you so much for your time, sir. We do appreciate that. If you have questions, just check in with that man or get in touch with us here at the station. We'll try and read them for you on the air. But stay with us right now. Tom's got another check of your chilly forecast after the break.